Welcome to Spartan Mind, the newest addition to the Spartan Up podcast family. I'm Dr. L, Spartan's Chief Mind Doc. I'm going to be here each Wednesday bringing you back to the couch to toughen up your mind, to get you super uncomfortable, working you through a little internal barbed wire so that you can increase your physical execution and your performance in life. So keep listening to the Spartan Up podcast that you're used to on Tuesdays. You'll find me here on Wednesdays and Spartan Way Habits on Thursdays. Now that's a trifecta. Hey Spartans, today we're talking about values. Values is honestly one of my favorite conversations because it's really about what matters to you. Values is a set of principles by which you would choose to live your life. Your value system is different than anybody else's value system. It's unique to you. My value system is different from Heather's behind the camera. It's different probably from my mother's and probably even from my husband's because all of our value systems are different. And this is really what makes us unique and special because what matters to each of us is not the same. It's important to know your values, and these can be anything. We could be talking about honesty, integrity, service, spirituality, adventure. There is a wide range of values that you can choose from, but it's important to know what matters to you. So one of the things that I like talking about is whether or not you are in alignment with your values. And I talk about this with my clients a lot because typically the individuals that come to see me are out of alignment. Their behaviors are not congruent with their values. And that is creating a significant amount of mental dis-ease, right? Because the greater the distance from your values to your behaviors is the greater the mental dis-ease. And in here, we find addiction, we find depression, we find anxiety, we find just general discontent and unhappiness, sometimes rage and pervasive anger. Because if you're out of alignment with your values, you're inherently out of alignment with yourself, and you're making choices that aren't going to feel good to you. So knowing whether or not you're in alignment with your values is usually a three-step process. The first step is the most obvious one. What are your values? You can't know whether or not you're in alignment with them if you don't know what they are. So I want you to do a little bit of reflecting on what matters to you. And don't pick like 10 values, choose like 3 to 5. Because you can't really be in alignment with 10 values. It's just too many. You want to narrow it down really to what matters to you, okay? So that's step 1, is knowing and identifying your values. Step 2 is identifying whether or not your behaviors are in alignment with your values. And I'll share a story with you from my own personal life that gives you an idea of how it looks when you're out of alignment. So I was in my office one evening having a session with an adolescent and their family. It was about 5 o'clock and I was not at home, but family is one of my values. But my husband was feeding my children without me, and they were talking about school, and my husband was probably talking about work, and I wasn't there. And in that moment, I had this sort of shake of self, like, what am I doing? I am out of alignment with my values. And so I made some choices, and that doesn't happen anymore because it didn't feel good. It didn't feel like I was being true to what mattered to me, because I wasn't. So that second step is really important, identifying how are my behaviors in or out of alignment with my values. And then the third step is, what needs to change? How do I need to shift things so that I get back in alignment? What behaviors do I need to change so that I am more congruent with what matters to me? So again, that's a 3-step process. 1, identifying your values. 2, recognizing how your behaviors are out of alignment. And 3, changing your behaviors so that you close the gap and get more congruent. And that's values. If you like what you hear, spread the word. Tell your friends, subscribe and review on iTunes, or comment on YouTube. Then come tell us what you think. We're on Twitter at Spartan Up Pod or Instagram at Spartan Up Podcast. Now, values honestly is one of my favorite topics because I feel like it fucks.